Today is Sunday, the eve of the holiday of Sukkot. It's Zman Simchatenu, the time of our rejoicing. It's a very, very joyous holiday. And if Pesach is Zman Cherutenu, the time of our freedom, and Shavuot, the other festival, is the holiday, the festival of Matan Torah, Matan Toratenu, that we receive the Torah. The holiday of Sukkot is the holiday of Simcha, Zman Simchatenu. One of the mitzvot of the holiday of Sukkot, very important mitzvah of the holiday of Sukkot, is to have our meals and to dwell in the Sukkah for 7 days. Sukkah is a very temporary type of dwelling. The roof or the ceiling is not impermeable to rain, actually. If it's so thick that rain cannot fall through, then it's not a kosher Sukkah. The roof is made from schach, which is branches, products that were made from trees but cannot be a kind of a vessel, or it cannot be, let's say, cannot put ladders made of wood which come from a tree on the sukkah, but branches, like whether it's from a palm tree, from any tree, to cover the sukkah, and it represents faith dwelling under tzila de mehimanutan, to the shade of faith in Hashem. In other words, on Sukkot, we say the true security, the true safety, the true success, and the true feeling of protection is when the protection is ultimately from Hashem. It's not the walls of a fortress that can protect a person. It's the protection of Hashem which is what's important. And the Sukkah is also the symbol of spirituality. We sort of like separate from the physical and material, and we put our faith in Hashem and dwell in the Sukkah that is representative of the clouds, the divine clouds that surrounded the Jewish people in the desert. The divine clouds protected them from the elements, from the heat, from the cold. It protected them from enemy attack. It was a shield that surrounded them, and it was a shield that was a divine shield, a spiritual shield, and that's the shield that protects us, and that's what is symbolized by the Sukkah. The Sukkah is also a place where each one of the 7 days of Sukkot, we have another guest of honor. And the guest of honor in the Sukkah on the first day is Avraham, the second day is Yitzchak, the third day is Yaakov, the fourth day is Moshe Rabbeinu, the fifth day is Aaron HaKohen, the sixth day is Yosef HaTzadik, and the seventh day is David HaMelech. What do we mean by these 7 guests come to the Sukkah? That each one of these guests represents another aspect of spirituality, and that's the connection that we have with them. They're our leaders, they're our leaders to emulate in terms of what they represented. Avraham represented chesed and kindness, and Yitzchak strength and discipline. Yaakov, truth and the merging of both kindness and discipline. Moshe represented the eternity of the Torah. Aaron HaKohen represented the splendor, and also he stood for making peace amongst people. Yosef HaTzadik represented morality and modesty and being careful with what a person sees, and any aspect that has to do with modesty and modest dress, etc. And then finally David HaMelech represented the aspect of accepting and the sovereignty of Hashem on us, making Hashem our king. And he was the king of Am Yisrael, but yet, even though he was the most powerful person in his country as the king, he's still the one that directed all the kingship to Hashem. And these are, for us, pointers in spirituality as we dwell in a spiritual dwelling, so to speak, of the Sukkah. We're to be inspired by these 7 guests that come. Every day of the 7 days of the Sukkot, all 7 guests are there, but each day we highlight, and one of them is the guest of honor. And the Sukkah represents, as we said, the divine clouds. In the desert, the Jewish people had the manna, came to them because of the merit of Moshe Rabbeinu. They had the well of Miriam, water because of the merit of Miriam. The divine clouds that protected them were because of the zchut, of the merit of Aaron HaKohen. And Aaron Cohen is a person that we are to emulate. He was Ohev Shalom and Rodef Shalom. He loved peace, pursued peace. Ohev et Abiriot. He loved people. He found the positive in people. Karva la Torah, and got them closer to the Torah. His merit gave us the divine clouds that on the holy day of Sukkot, as we sit in the Sukkah, we think of the divine protection. We express our faith in Hashem, and may we merit to have the inspiration that the 7 leaders of Am Yisrael, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, Yosef, and David, that they are to inspire us during these days of Sukkot. Chag Sameach, Zeman Simchatenu, this is the time of our rejoicing. Baruch Adonai le'olam, Amen ve'amen.